everyone, this is Amy. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. Tonight I'm going to show you another floral design painted on this glass bottle. I will be using two number 12 flat brushes, or one stroke plaid flat brushes, number 8 Princeton round, number 6 Deerfoot Stippler, and then two dotting tools. One is a clay ball maker and the other one is a dotting stylus. The paint I'm using tonight is Cardinal Red, Magenta, Baby Pink, Burnt Umber, Thicket, push those up, Linen, Cinnamon, Citrus Green, and Wicker White. All these are folk art paints, and most of these are actually the multi-surface. I believe one of them, when I was going through it, I think the Thicket is actually enamel. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I did clean the bottle off, very important, and wash it with soap and water, and then I did clean it off with rubbing alcohol. So the flower that I'm going to be painting right now, I'm going to start it with some magenta and the baby pink, and I'm just loading in between here. I'll have to someday show you exactly how to do this, because you can do the side and then the blending strokes if you want to do it that way. That's perfectly fine at this point, which is kind of what I'm doing, a combination here right now. But I am doing it with the double loading. I'm going to start with my baby pink, and I think I might even dip it into some of the Thicket, or not Thicket, but the Wicker White, and then just do kind of a, I'm going to try to wiggle it around a little bit, but make it not so wiggly, but I want to have it kind of bumped up and down. I got a lot of paint on here, which I'm not really sure exactly why that happened. I'm going to go over it again. And I want to try not to make it too big, but I have a feeling I'm headed that way, the way I'm going here. And this is just the bottom layer. I might try something because I'm having some issues, and maybe if you're a glass painter and you're on here, I am having some issues right now with when I'm layering my paint, that it's actually kind of separating. So I'm not sure if I need to hit it with a hairdryer first, but I'm going to go ahead and do the initial flower petals, hit it before I do any more layering. I will use a hairdryer and see if that makes a difference. Now I am tapping the magenta side into my Cardinal Red just to give it a little bit different look as far as the pink goes. I am also going to try to keep my buds a little smaller, and I apologize, I am a left-handed person, so it might be a little difficult for you to see with my hand in the way. Alright, so I'm going to keep going here. And then I'm going to come back this way and then just pull it down and swing it around this way. I'm going to go right like this again, just to give it some more coverage. And then I'm going to go over here because I want 3. That's a little pinker, which is fine. Like I said, all in nature is cool. We don't have to have every shade be exact, right? I put a little white in this one and do the same thing. I'm just going to pull it down, swing it around, and go up like that. And you don't have to end it like I'm ending it. I'm not sure exactly why I'm ending it this way. Do the same thing because I want some better coverage. And then come over here and throw, you know what, I might come up this way because I want this design I'm painting is actually a pretty big design. So I want it to be where I can get as much in as I can here. Now, if you're new to glass painting and you have any questions, please let me know down below. Also, if you're new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. Once you view this video, if you like it, please make sure that you give me a big thumbs up. And I might just go through here and add, I can just kind of scoop it like that to get it a little thicker. Again, I am going to hit some of this with a hair dryer, see if that, or a heat gun actually. I have a heat gun. See if that helps, because it started to do the separation here. And I did wipe it off with rubbing alcohol, so that's not the issue. I'm going to get it to where I'm going to mess it up here. I don't want to mess it up. Okay, I'm going to walk away from it here. Alright, I'm going to stop messing with it before I really do mess it up. Okay, so then we're going to move on to the next one. Oh shoot, I just put that on the wrong side. Now on this, it's going to kind of be partially open, but not fully. I'm going to go like this. I think I made this more of a wigglier design, like that, you know, where you pull it. You can go, you know, wiggle, wiggle, and then maybe do a little bit of a step back just to make it wigglier, and then pull it down. Again, with it not being as big, it'll be fine. And then do the same here. I just feel like with the glass, for some reason, I'm just not getting the designs exactly the way I really would want them to be. Which is, you know, it's okay, but I really like to teach you something. Alright, so this is probably more pinkish instead of the red. But we will see when I hit it with the hairdryer if that helps. Or the heat gun. Dagnabbit, I keep saying that. Alright. Just kind of bring it in, turn it like that a little bit. Then I'm going to have a few of these down below here. Might even hit those into the red a little bit more. And I'm going to just do some wiggling here, because these are my buds. And do it again here. And then come over here and do the scoop like I did on the top. I kind of call it a scoop, but I'm doing it upside down. And you'll see later why I'm doing them this way. Alright, so I have two little ones down here. I am going to hit this with a hairdryer and I'll be right back. Alright, so let's see what happens. Wish me luck. See if this works. I'm hoping. And when you're doing this too, if you feel like you're getting way too much paint on your paintbrush, by all means, take a minute and scrape it off if you need to. Alright, so let's see here if I can do what I don't really want it like that either. I just want it a little bit, and then I'm going to do some of this where I just, it's kind of a more of a ruffly look, and I think it is making a big difference to have dried the underneath a little bit. I'm definitely feeling it. I'm almost done with this part, and I probably will have to let it dry a little bit more. Might even have to hit it with a heat gun again. But see, it's just more of a ruffly type flower. Now for the next part of this one, I think I did ruffle around this, but what I'm going to do because I want to layer it a little bit so that you can actually see the different layers. So on this one I'm just going to come in here because I did actually dry this too, and come back and forth to do the ruffly, go over it again, the ruffly flower, and then I'll layer it just a little bit more with a darker color. Like I said, you can rotate these, you can do them all the same color if you want. So you just kind of pull it up and you just turn your brush a little bit and then you go on. And that's all. Pretty darn simple. Alright, so once again, I'm going to hit it. Alright, I am back again. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the next part. And I'm going to do the pink. Let me see here. I want the pink though to be a little bit darker. I don't want it to be quite so bright. So I'm dipping it a little bit into the Cardinal Red and kind of mixing it a little bit. Just going back and forth. I can come back over here and use this. So I'm going to start with this one again. And I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to kind of like this and wiggle it. Yeah, I'm pulling it up a little bit. So you do have to be careful. Even though you dried it a little bit, it can still pull it up. So I'm just going to come back over here and just be very careful with it. And then come back here, pull it. So now I'm getting nervous because I'm afraid it's going to pull it up. Again, it's so much easier when you can actually just flow it and just keep it going. But you don't want to pull your paint up and ruin it, so just have to be careful with it. I'll just do it like that, which you can do, but it's so much easier when you can just keep it flowing and just keep it going together. Like I said, I'm not going to fuss with it too much because I am going to be tapping in a center, but I might want to just do it a tad bit. So I close the center up just a smidge. And I could put a little white in here too if I want to lighten it up a little bit so you can see the contrast. Not a big deal. It's not a big contrast at all. Just a little bit. And then bring it around. Because I don't want too big of a hole in the center, even though it's pretty much covered. This just gives it another layer. And remember too, when you're putting on your paint thickly, it's going to give more durability to your design. And I just kind of pick that off a little bit. Let's come back in here. Just want to make it look nice, nice and nice. Okay, now I'm going to leave it alone, walk away from it. Alright, so then the next layer that I'm going to do on my little partials over here. Now I can do one of two things. I can stay with the lighter color, and I think I'm going to turn it and have more of the red showing, so I have lots of paint on my brush. And I just have to keep doing the little ruffles. And then you can pull it in like that. Make it a little bit more opaque. And I have to keep in mind too, I am going to be coming over this with green, with my green, and everybody knows how I am about my green. I like my leaves. I'm just going to do the same thing here. I think what I'm going to do, so I'm trying to figure out a way to start, because I want to show you some of these techniques on paper, since it is a little bit easier to do it on paper. And then that way you can practice. And I think I'm also going to show you, give you an idea what I mean when I'm talking about practicing on my like wax paper, that kind of thing. Because sometimes I feel like I don't quite get what it is I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to think here. I feel like I'm going to need another brush. think these are, well, this is a number 6. I didn't say this before, but a number 6 round brush. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do, and you can do this if you feel like it, because I have a lot going on, like I said, in this floral arrangement, but I want to do some pointed flowers. I can do this with my flat brush, or I can do this with my round brush. And so basically I'm just kind of like drawing them out, and they'll be a little bit bigger than what, probably not as big as what I initially did them in my sample drawing, but they will be substantial. You will see them. And you can do these as 5 petals, 4 petals, whatever you can work into your design. And I'm going to work these a little bit as far as that goes, and you'll see. I'm going to go ahead and work it first because I'm going to do another one over it. I'm putting some burnt umber into this and then just pulling it in here. It doesn't have to be real dark and it doesn't have to be light. You can do a little mixture here, light and dark, but I'm going to put some other colors in it here too. So I'm getting more towards doing more than just one style of flower in a video. I might put some video time, make it a little bit longer by doing this because they're bigger, more substantial designs. And I do want to put some of my cinnamon in here. I do love my cinnamon. It's a very pretty color. Again, on something like this, if you want to worry about where the light is coming from, the light source, be more than glad to, add that in. If you don't really care, that's fine too. If that's not a concern, I don't want to say you don't really care, but it's not a concern, then don't worry about it. Then just paint. Just paint. That's all you have to do is just paint. And I'm putting some linen in here. Just basically layering it. Not any kind of a formula to it. Maybe there should be, but if you paint like I do, you don't really have formulas. You just paint. I don't want to say just paint, but you do. If you're having fun, that's all I care about. And if you're being creative, getting that creative side out there, makes me happy. Okay, now we can do, like I said, I'm kind of running out of some room, so I might throw a few more of these bigger ones down here because I feel like I have more space down in this area. And I'm using white. You gotta just draw these in. I mean, if you really need to draw them, then go for it. But you can make your, the petals thicker, thinner, thick and thin. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, I'm pretty laid back when it comes to how you do something. I'm sure there are rules to it, but whatever. Whatever. I just hope you like it. Again, we're doing some made up flowers. I'm sure they probably resemble something, but I'm not really that wound up about what they're supposed to look like or what they actually are, kind of thing, more so than just learning how to paint them. I'm going to put the cinnamon in here. Put some more cinnamon over here. I can make this one a little fatter since I seem to be fattening these up a little bit as I'm painting them. Since they kind of remind me of starfish. I'm really not trying to make them look like starfish, honestly. Really not. Okay, so here's some linen again. And when you make these layered like this, you're definitely going to have more durability. There's no way around it. That's a good thing. Definitely a good thing. Once you're finished with your painting, if you want to bake these, because they're not glass, I mean as far as like glassware that you're going to be drinking out of, you don't really have to bake them. If you decide you are going to, allow them to air dry for about an hour, and then put them in a cold oven, turn the oven on, preheat the oven, add that to your bake time. So if the paint is 30 minutes to be baked, your preheat time is 10 minutes, then you want to bake it for 40 minutes. Baking them a little bit longer is not a problem. It really isn't. It doesn't hurt them. If you're not sure of your preheat time, you know, because a lot of times you don't really pay any attention to that when you're cooking. You just know that it comes on and says, hey, I'm preheated. Then make sure you add that to, or I'm sorry, I didn't finish saying what I was going to say. Make sure that you add at least 10 to 15 minutes to your bake time to allow for the preheat, if you don't want to test it out or pay attention to it. Because again, that's not going to hurt anything if you bake it a little bit longer. It's not going to be a problem. Alright, so like I said, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of layering it, painting in my design, and then putting the different colors, laying the different colors, and I made this a little bit smaller than the one prior, or the one up there, and that's fine. This one looks like it has more of the cinnamon. If you want it to be a little darker, just throw some of that burnt umber on it and paint away. And I do apologize, my furnace is kicking back on again. We have some snow outside right now. It's snowing tonight. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So I definitely want my furnace to be running. Okay, so I'm done with those. The next little thing I'm going to do is take my other brush, and this should be the 6th, and I am going to go around and put in some other little flowers. They're going to be filler flowers. I'm going to start with these little brushes and then just do my basic pulls. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Don't get too wound up if it covers like that, because I'm going to go over it some more. I normally do in my little clusters at least 3. If you want to do 4, 5, 6, 7, it's fine. Sorry. But I'm going to just be putting them in different places here. These again are my little filler flowers, part of my design. And I just noticed on here the paint where its overlapped has cracked. That's really weird. I have never had such an issue with painting on glass before. I truly haven't, so I'm not sure what the problem is. If anybody else out there knows, please let me know. because I've never experienced this, and I've painted on a lot of glass. Lots of glass. It's really kind of silly to think that I've got little cracks, and now if I had done crackling medium on this, I could understand that. But I haven't done any crackling medium, so I'm not really sure what the deal is. So sorry. Let's see where else, because I wanted these on here in a few spots. I'm going to balance it out a little bit before I put some greenery on and finish up. Now if I wanted to just do like one over here, that's fine. And then I'm going to come back in and do a combination probably of maybe even some white, but I'm at least putting the linen in here. You know, whenever you go over something like this, if you feel like you need to go back in and put some of the base color back in, by all means do that. It's just quick little taps, not anything real exciting or difficult, I should say. And if you have enough paint in your brush already, then feel free to keep going. You don't have to keep reloading. I haven't even gotten to my greenery yet. Like I said, on these you can do, you know, a few pulls, or you can do, you know, 4 or 5 petals. It's really up to you. Pretty laid back when it comes to painting. Do any of you do this, or are trying to get into doing this for relaxation? If you are, let me know down below. Like I said, all you have to do is just take a look at this and say, hey, do I feel like I need to fill this in anywhere? Do I feel like I'm a little heavy on the linen, like in here? I can go back over it, kind of manipulate it a little bit, like that. And then I'm going to take one of my little stylus here, and I'm going to do the red dot in the center. I'm going to do the Cardinal Red for the dots, and I'm not going to go back over mine. You know, yeah, there's probably some that could use it, but for the purpose of the video, sometimes I, you know, cut things a little short because I know that my video is running long, and I really don't want it to be too long. Oops, I just stuck it in the cinnamon. Alright, so I'm going to come up here, put that up there, finish these off. I'm going to take my stylus, and on the other side of it, I'm going to tap in some little dots into my buds. If you want to make them stand out a little bit more, you can put in a lighter color with them. I'm not too worried about that, so I'm just going to leave it dark with the cinnamon. I'm happy with that. Just gives it more texture. And I think the more texture you have, the neater it looks, the more interest it has. I hope that makes sense to you. I know a lot of times I'll say stuff and then I'll think, I'm not sure if they really understood what I was talking about. Alright, so I'm going to take my clay ball maker, because I want a big center in here. Take my clay ball maker, dip it into the cinnamon. And I feel like I had a lot of different paint in this video, so I could have actually changed just to yellow ochre or something along that line, but I decided not to, because I don't want to make it to where it's too, you know, it's too much paint for everybody to be buying. again, if you are someone who, you know, you don't have a lot of money to play with, then don't worry about it. Use what you have. Please use what you have. Because I really don't want you going out and spending a bunch of money on paint. Especially, you know, if you're just right now getting practice and you're just learning, you don't have to put a lot of paint. Use what you have. If you're not using it on glass, then use your, you know, if you have acrylic already, use it. On the dotting here, I am not wanting it to be real, you know, symmetrical, whatnot. It can be, you can make different size dots, big dots, space them out a little bit more, however you want to do it. You can layer them a little bit, so it's just a little bit looser. But I think by doing this, it gives it, you can see it more. You know, it gives it a little bit more style. You can even put, like I just did there, put a little bit of dotting into the center, and that's cool. It's fine, perfectly fine. The next thing I'm going to do before I do my final step, I'm going to do my stippler and put my center in here. I am going to use the burnt umber. Right now, I'm going to start just by tapping in. That's all I have on here is the burnt umber. And then I'm going to put a little bit of the, I think I had, I'm trying to think what I originally did. Said that last night, so I did these over the weekend, these designs, and then I have forgotten some of what I actually used and how I did it. Okay, so I am going to take this, add a little bit of white in here. I love these stipplers. Have you ever used the stipplers? If you have, put yes down below. I mean, they're so much easier to do the centers with. I really love them. Alright, I just stuck my finger in the green. I am going to do a little bit of dotting, not all the way around, but a little bit of dotting around the base of this, like that. Again, I can come in here and just put some little dots, kind of sporadically. I just like things to be a little loose. And if you don't like that, then make it as straight and narrow as you want it to be. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with pulling in the green. I am going to be, let me see, let me get rid of some of these other brushes. Now hopefully I'll remember to wash them. And I do use Dawn soap to wash my brushes. Okay, so here I'm going to double load these, this number 12 flat brush. I'm just keeping it in between here, and I can run it more into this screen if I want, or run it over here. If I want to tap that in here, I can do that and blend it in someplace else on my plate if I don't want to blend it right here. Just however I want to do it. So what I'm going to do first, and I should have probably done this with a smaller brush. I always make that judgment too, if you wanted to use a smaller brush or not. I'm kind of goofy with this because I don't switch brushes very much when I'm painting. And for you, I don't want to, again, I worry about cost for people. I don't want to make it too expensive. And I'm going to pull this in over here too. Got a little flower there, but I still want to show that I've gotten my flower attached to a branch, or not a branch, but what do I have it attached to? Stem. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have that, and then I can maybe even make like a little line just to say, hey, I really do. If you want to mess with that, great. If not, that's fine too. Alright, so then I'm going to go up here to these, blend it a little bit better, and then I'm going to just I can do some up around it, do some up around it, I can do some that kind of pull towards it, pull around it so that you know, they're just, it's not anything really fancy, but it's just a little bit different than what I typically do. And I turn my brush around a little bit so I can get some of the lighter green so that you can see it better. And I'm going to do that up here. Again, just kind of pulling these down around here, around it, and I can do this. I'm going to pull it like it's going into the next flower below, and just kind of pull it. Just make some pretty, you know, pulls with it. I can pull that in here, pull that down like that. You just kind of sometimes just have to go with it. You know, when you're painting, I want to try to put that in here so I can see it a little bit. I'm going to pull it down so it's part of my, and typically I would have a stem, but I'm not really worried about that focus right now because of the bottle being so small. And that's true too with this. I'm going to bring it down in here a little bit, up here. And you can just keep working with it too to get it the way you like it. And just always remember too, if you're painting on glass and you don't like it, you can pitch it. You can pitch it. That's all you have to worry about. Or you can wash it off and do it again. We're going to have these like they're hanging down. I just want to do them like really just kind of loose. And we'll bring it down. I just want to touch in here a little bit so it looks like I've got it on here a little. But not covering up this flower too much with the greenery. Now sometimes you can and sometimes you don't want to. As far as covering something up with the greenery. Alright, so then my next thing is just going to be to put some leaves in here, and they're not going to be real difficult because there's not a whole lot of room. And these are just going to be kind of jagged, and that's intentional. And I'm doing more of the green on the outside, the lighter green, excuse me, on the outside because of the bottle being green. You can do a variety, or you can, like this one, like go like this. I'm just going to do it very lightly because it looks like it wants to start cracking again. Do it up here like that. I'm not going to do too much of a fancy thing because it's going to crack on me. There you go. I think I got it. I think I got it. And you can do, you know, this one I'm going to go like this and just do kind of a little pointed one. Bring it in. If you want to put, you know, little stems in them, you know, do it if you want to. If they look great without that, then don't worry about it. And then like on here, I might just put just some small ones because I don't want them too overpowering. They are covering up some of my little flowers. If you want to, you can also, you know, put some of these in and then paint the flowers over them. Up to you. Or if you want, like this is covering up some of the small ones, go back in and do it again. And just clean it up some. I guess is what I would say. Excuse me. And I'm just going to go like that, just a simple little leaf. I can make it go back like that. I can also turn it around if I want. There's just so many different types of leaves. If you have a favorite leaf that you like to paint, let me know what that is down below. I'd love to hear from you. I know we all have our different thoughts on that. Just trying to see here what else I need to add. I mean, it's pretty busy bottle. Yeah, let me do that. I went over that a little bit. Turn it a little bit. There we go. And then I can come up into this one up here. Just pull out some little one-stroke leaves. Again, I don't have to worry about stems unless I really want to. Doesn't matter. Just my decision. And then I can come here and maybe just do some thin holes. If I want to put a stem, look into it, I can. Once again, or I can just leave it be. Now this time I decided to turn it and do some of the lighter green so it can be seen better. And you know, and it's okay too, like when you have these little flowers that are kind of in here, that they could just be floating there. They don't have to actually have leaves around them. I'm going to kind of leave that one alone, I think. And over here I might do this. Just pull out some leaves from here. Hopefully you can see those. It's kind of fun, you know, you run out of space, and that's okay. You do some just little ones going in this direction too. If you want to put more on, that's awesome. And you can even do like some overlapping these flowers if you want. And just leave it, call it a day. But I think for now I'm going to stop. I don't want to make this too awful long. I think you pretty much get the gist. If you like this video, please again make sure that you give me a big thumbs up. Losing my train of thought, apologize. If you are new to my channel, make sure, as I mentioned earlier, that you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and then at the end of the video, make sure that you hit that share button that's underneath so that you can share this with your family and friends. I would appreciate it. Again, I hope